Hello and welcome to the Hatfield trip. It's a very powerful episode today with comedy rock star Derek Seguin, who's done Just for Laughs Festival 9 times. He was the Sirius XM top comic a couple years ago. We both had Yuck Yuck shows in Ottawa, and we met up afterwards. I went and caught the end of his show and watched the fans flock to him, buy his CD after the show, and then we went and had a drink with his neighbor from Montreal who was in town on business. Then we went to Pizza, got some pizza, headed back to his hotel. By the time we started this podcast, it was 1 a.m. We'd had a few drinks. He's a super cool guy. He shares a lot with us. He had me in stitches many times during this podcast. So, Derek Seguin, please enjoy.
You're listening to the Mark Hatfield podcast.
You want to go fight some crime?
I got your number, I know your name, and I know you play the game.
Hello.
We start already?
Yeah, we're on, man. We are live. We're with Derek Seguin, XFM, Sirius XFM top comic.
Where'd the F come from?
I don't know. There's no
X-fucking-M.
X fucking M. What's? Oh, here you got
Sirius
headphones.
XM.
We're eating pizza.
You're like 4 inches from me. I don't know why.
Well, because it makes us feel like we're really making a fucking podcast here.
Oh, look at that. We're broadcasting.
We're live, and there's fucking 7,000 people listening to us. And what, standing ovation at Just for Laughs? Is that a thing that happened?
Yeah.
I read that somewhere, and just did a fucking killer headline set at Yuck Yuck's Ottawa. I'll take my glasses off because it's way too fucking good.
You can see my pores.
You can see what your pores are doing tomorrow.
Jeez, I didn't know pores
I
could
can
hold
see
turd
7
juice.
a.m. tomorrow with these glasses on. You just bought us some pizza. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, but super delicious, and we're going to be eating that. It's going to
Pizza 737-2727.
That's different. It's 11:11 in Ontario.
Yeah, it's probably that incorrect, too. I didn't really do research. I didn't think. After you said it's fucking disgusting, pretty sure they're not going to be come on zitting the fucking. Come on zit means sponsored.
Come on,
Couldn't
Zit.
think of- yeah.
Never heard that one before. So I got to know. Okay, you're in Ottawa for a few
Wow, how
days.
come your pizza has so much more bacon
It's
than mine.
so
Mine has no
bacon
bacon.
and pepperoni. It's delicious. I haven't even had any yet.
What a load of shit.
Tell me about what you're doing tomorrow. Let's hear about tomorrow in Derek Seguin's life.
I'm going to buy pants. That's the first thing.
He got on stage.
This is the true story, everybody. I forgot to bring fucking pants on this tour. I got here, I only have golf clothes.
Never before have I seen a headliner get on stage with a lovely pair of white knee-length shorts.
Beige, they're beige.
But very, very becoming. Very handsome. And you killed. You fucking killed. You destroyed with shorts on. It was one of a kind. I'd never seen a thing like that before. Nobody was looking at your crotch. It was all above the waist.
I've never worn shorts. I don't know about any headliner, but I have never worn shorts, and I was embarrassed. And it became 15 minutes. So, it's good.
Did you talk about it on stage?
No.
And I missed that.
Immediately, I was just like, I'm really sorry. I have shorts.
I have shorts. Please.
Already, I have the greatest job in the world. You think I could wear pants to do it? Fuck.
You think you would, and you talk about the greatest job in the world, and not too many guys say that when they're comedians. They mostly have a shotgun in their mouth. And why do you think that it's the greatest job in the world?
You kidding? I don't
No, I just want to hear it from Derek Seguin why it's the greatest job in the world.
talk about my dick for
Yeah.
money for 45 minutes.
Mo, you talked about your dick for an hour and 45
all right.
minutes tonight.
But the minimum requirement is 45 minutes. I went into overtime tonight.
There was a lot.
I'm a company man.
There was double overtime about your penis this evening. It was very entertaining.
I feel so lucky to do what I do, man.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing it in shorts,
Unbelievable.
I'm just like, oh my God, thank you, everybody.
Yeah. So let's go back in time, back to a tender age when Derek Seguin was a young schoolboy in with the North Shore of Montreal.
Really? Do we have to bring up the
Yeah.
rape right off the bat?
The Catholic Church was rough to him in the early days.
South Shore. I'm from the
South Shore. Fuck yeah. Okay. Right. So we have a lot of mutual friends, which is unbelievable.
It is crazy.
Yeah. So I opened for you. Fortunate enough to open for you the day after you won What was it?
Sirius XM.
Sirius XM Top
Top
Comic.
Comic.
You won what? 10 grand in that.
15 grand.
15 grand in that.
And
Very.
now it's 25.
And
by
now
the
it's
way.
25. Inflation. And yeah, now that they're giving it to someone else, it's a little bit more.
I don't know if I told you this too. So you missed the first part of the show tonight, but I talk about going on vacation with my girlfriend and whatever in Jamaica, how she was shitting and barfing on the boat. Yeah, you had to be there, I guess. But Doucette was there, Chris.
What?
We're in Jamaica, and fucking Chris Doucette's walking down the beach with his wife. I'm like, hey, what the fuck? I got
Come
a villa.
on.
Come on in. Yeah, and I
You
got,
didn't know he was going to be there.
we've figured it out before, but we ended up running into each other. And we had hired a reggae band to come play at our house that we rent. Chris, come on over. I forget his wife's name. Hopefully Chris isn't one of the 600 listeners.
He'll be listening tomorrow for sure.
His wife is, I don't know her name, but I think she's very charming and lovely. And
She
if
has to be.
Chris wasn't married to her, I don't know why I'm getting over the top. But yeah, they came over and like we have a reggae band. It was fucking amazing.
Chris Doucette, who's a friend of mine who I played university football with at Bishop's University, who also happens to be a lifelong friend of Derek Seguin.
Yeah, man.
And there's other guys too, right? Jay Allen, Cheeks,
Cheeks is
Jeff Roberts.
Sunday and Cheeks were my son's football coach last year, and Cheeks and Sunday had a fight, so it's only Sunday that's left.
And the Henry brothers, Dave, Rob, and
Rob was the bouncer at the bar, the first bar I ever really went to, and then our kid ended up on the same football team. Rob's kid played football. Rob was the coach. That's how I started hanging out with Rob and not be afraid of him. As
he
a bar
scares a
bouncer.
lot of people in Montreal,
Gigantic
right? Yeah,
fucking
big,
man.
the big bamboo. That's what we used to call him because he would wear this shirt that had a bamboo. Like, is there a club in Montreal called the Big Bamboo?
No.
He would
No,
wear this
no.
bamboo shirt, and it was way too small for him, and he would wear it to, I guess, to be a doorman, and it just scared everybody, and we called him the Big Bamboo because he's
fucking
huge.
massive and
Yeah.
scary.
Did you know the story about him trying out for the Ottawa Senators the first year that they were in existence?
I didn't even know he played hockey.
Yeah. Apparently, a great hockey player and a
Wow.
bit of a fighter, and he made the team apparently. And when they went to sign the contract with the lawyers and stuff, they realized that he'd given a fake birth date, and he was really like 10 years older than he said he was, so he didn't get to
Oh,
play. But he
shit.
made the Ottawa Senators the first year in existence. Yeah, great hockey player, great athlete, and just a huge, massive dude, right? Massive.
Fucking massive. He must be 6'7",
Yeah.
but like with
Big arms,
30,
big chest.
30-inch bicep.
Huge dude. So you grew up in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And when did the comedy start? Well, you're how old?
31.
You started comedy at 31?
How
What were you doing before that?
I was advertising executive.
So did you go to, like, you're a funny guy growing up?
I was
And
a
that's-
father of two already. When the first time I stepped on stage, I already had 2 kids, mortgage, like 2-car payment,
And you're starting open mics
open mics.
in
Yeah.
Montreal.
And that's why when I first started, I used to always be in a suit, like full suit, tie,
Yeah?
suit, like suit,
Okay.
like where the pant matched the jacket.
No shorts.
No shorts. And then everybody just got used to that. But the reason why was because I was going straight from work to the club. Like I work late tonight, and then I'm in a full suit. I was like, oh, and people assumed that I'd been doing comedy much longer than I had because I'm wearing a suit. Oh, this guy can afford a suit. He must have at least one good dick joke, that's sold something.
Wow. You know what? I had no idea you started when you're 31.
Yeah.
And so you would
How
go.
old were you when you started?
I was 45, 44, 45.
See?
Yeah. I
There's
know.
no- don't worry, man.
Never give up,
right.
man.
And-
You're never too old.
And I don't. You look younger than me somehow. Like you started at the age I am now, and you somehow look younger and
I
better.
drink a lot of milk. That's it's all in
This
the milk.
podcast. I see this fucking guy. I swear to God, it never ceases to amaze how much fucking pussy he's stealing from everybody else. No, I used to play in the NFL and the CFL, and now I'm a firefighter, which people just fuck us for no reason. Their house isn't even on fire. Why are you sucking my dick? Stop it.
Not true, but I love it. I love the way I feel after I'm with you. It's so much confidence. right. You gave me the greatest introduction about a year ago. He went on for 5 minutes about how handsome I was.
Yeah.
And my wife was there, so that was very, very good. Very
Yeah, I
good for me.
started polishing your nails like.
That is crazy. 31, and you went to open mics. What is it? Something you always wanted to do? Is it lifelong dream?
It was. I even when I applied to university, I wanted to go into like film and creative thing, and my
Yep.
parents were like, "Nah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be an actor? Well, that's fucking stupid, waste of time." And then I started working in the real world and got so depressed. Like I'm taking fucking Paxil. I got diagnosed. I had anxiety.
Yeah.
Thing. I'm like, I'm not happy. This sucks. Sorry, I'm chewing. This is very
Waiting.
doughy pizza. And then like I just try an open mic, and immediately I was addicted to it. But in my head, I have the kid and I have the mortgage or whatever. I have to keep doing this job. But at least I found a pastime
Yeah.
that make me not as depressed.
What was the club that you doing the open mics at?
The Comedy Nest was the first
Oh,
place I ever
okay.
did it.
Still
Yeah.
there, right?
Still there. It's in a different location now, but yeah, it's still it's the original club.
Mhm.
And it turned out so that at one point, so when I started, there was 3 comedy club in Montreal: the Comedy Nest, the Comedy Works, and the Comedy Zone.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned out all of those club had at one point been the Comedy Nest, and the originator, the founder of the Comedy Nest, Ernie Butler, just had a falling out with each of his partner and just said, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah.
And he leave with Comedy Nest, and they just said, "All right, well, we'll just change the Nest to Zone, and then we'll change the Nest to Works."
Yeah.
But so eventually the Zone closed, and the Zone was the first place to ever give me my first paid weekend. I won a contest, and I ended up opening for Ron Vaudry.
Yeah.
Was my
Oh,
prize.
nice. How long were you in comedy?
If anybody knows comedy, you know now that opening for Ron Vaudry is not a prize. Just kidding, Ron, you little son of a gun.
So you won a contest? How long were you in comedy before you won a contest?
9 months.
Oh, nice. So you won like
A weekend.
you won a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You did a weekend in your first 9 months. Mm-hmm. And so you were going.
But I had suits. Don't
you
forget,
were
Mark,
wearing the
I was
very
wearing
fancy
suits.
suits. Yeah. So people were assuming you were already.
People are very impressed by a suit.
A suit is nice. A very nice suit from Le Chateau. Where do you get a suit in Montreal?
No,
There's suits everywhere.
I was a real professional. I had real suits like Moors.
50% off if you go on Tuesday to Thursday. That's impressive.
Yeah.
So
You
9.
talk for the next 30 seconds. Come up with a 30-second question, or like 15 seconds.
Okay,
We
so
just gotta go right now.
yeah, he's gonna go over there and he's gonna get his ashtray and he's gonna get a smoke and he's in a
If you're listening from the hotel that we're staying in, I'm not smoking in the room. Shut up, Mark.
it's
You're smoking.
it's a pet friendly hotel and pets are allowed to smoke. So his dog is smoking
My
and
pet's on fire.
and his pants are on fire. His shorts that he wore on stage tonight are on fire. 9 months into comedy and you're doing your first weekend. That's crazy. That's an
15 month in, I'm doing my first Just for Laughs.
What?
I know.
That's crazy.
And that's what. And then I quit my job. I'm like, I'm gonna be a huge star. I'm doing fucking Just for Laugh. This is easy. This is a whole easy industry.
Yeah.
And then I did my first Just for Laugh TV. Did Just for Laugh TV.
Yeah.
15 months into this business.
That's crazy.
Quit my job.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Just for Laugh ended, I went back to making $25 to $30 per show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe quitting my job was a little bit of a jump the gun.
So Just for Laughs, what did you do after? Like you had one show or a gala or?
It was a special show called Oh Canada. So it was
Yeah.
a very Canadian specific show. And it was for TV though, and it's Just for Laugh. And I'm like, oh my God. And they paid me like, I don't know, $2,000. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking comedy's easy.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it was finished though, still nobody was like, well, who gives a shit?
Yeah, and
you only got 8 minutes.
You're back to the open mics.
Yeah.
You had 8 minutes when you did your first Just for Laughs festival.
8 really good ones, yeah, I think so. And So I ended up doing a lot of freelance advertise work. And
Back to the
meaning
suits.
I was doing anything.
Were you still wearing suits when you did your first Just
No,
for Laughs?
because I was doing like guerrilla marketing. I'd be like, if you like, you know those annoying people that at the airport you're walking to, hey, you want to sign up for this credit
Want a
card?
towel? Want a blanket?
Yeah,
I
I'll
hate
sign up
those.
for this credit card. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was doing.
That's
there
terrible.
was some better
But
stuff
on
than
stage, were you still wearing the suit?
No,
You're wearing the blanket.
no, and that's where the bookers were like, you used to always be a suit. That's why I booked you. Because where's the suit? So then I went back to wearing a jacket at least. I'd show up with a jacket.
I can't
Sorry, I've
imagine
got
you
the
would.
hiccups. This is a terrible podcast. I've got
No,
the
it's a
hiccups.
great time. Pizza, smokes, hiccups, farts. It's got it all. It's what I look for in a podcast guest. It's fantastic. But I can't believe 16 months in, you're doing Just for Laughs.
Yeah.
And then, so how do you keep going from there? It's not. You've done Just for Laughs,
It was a rude awakening.
which is pretty much everyone's sort of ultimate goal in comedy these days. It's the biggest festival in the world, and they work 10, 20 years or never get it, and you've got it after 15 years. Was that a goal?
15 months.
15 months. Sorry, was that a goal going in, or is it just you're just going day by day and it came about?
I just was enjoying this new hobby that I found. So I was, oh man, this is so cool, and it started to go good. I remember the first time they offered me $50 just to do. Like $50, because what I love so much about this new hobby that I found is that at the time I could smoke and drink at work.
Yeah.
Like you could still smoke in bar 15 years ago in Quebec.
So that's the late
So I'm like,
90s?
all my buddies are going to the gym, and it was 2003, 2004, 2004.
Yeah.
All my buddies were joining the gym, playing like grown-up hockey league or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, I found the hobby where I could smoke and drink while I do the hobby. This is the best thing. And then somebody said, oh, and here's $50. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And my bar tab is paid. This is amazing.
Yeah, it is a good hobby if you can.
And then the money just got more, and fuck, I quit everything. I don't do since 2008. So it took 4 years, and I didn't have to do anything but this.
So that's from the Just for Laughs. After Just for Laughs, things went.
Just me being willing to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And then eventually after 4 years, I didn't have to do any of that credit card.
That was 4 months.
That's not even what I did, but it gives you an idea. It was like guerrilla marketing stuff.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So one time we had an insurance campaign that we were doing, and it was the staffing part of it mostly. So I wouldn't actually be the guy that'd be like, "Oh, sir, do you have 2 minutes to talk to me about?" I would hire the people that do that, and I would make, say, like $4 per hour for each person that I put in those positions.
Yeah, like a pyramid.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't. Dude, I was even at that time. I was like, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I just have to use the skill that I have of knowing people. Do you want to do this thing? Okay, that's good. And coordinate. You be at this metro station or airport, and yeah.
And you're married with kids at this time? So how's that work?
So I'll give that to my ex-wife. She did support it. She was like, if this make you happy, go for it. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much.
Well, that's great to have someone.
But what she really meant was like, if you really want to do that, that gives me a lot more time to do shit that I like to do, which turns out to be black guys. No, we gotta cut that out of the podcast. You can't do that. No, that's the mother of my kids. No. Stop it. Mark's having an aneurysm. No, we can't. It's the mother of my kid. We can't let people know that. All right, you can leave it in.
Okay. So the marriage
Did it not work out? Yeah, it
did
didn't
not work out. And that's you've done Just for Laughs. We've mentioned that
9 times. 9 times now.
You've done Just for Laughs 9 times
9
now.
times
Since
in
then,
14 years in comedy, I've done it 9 times. That's pretty good.
that's amazing. That's very unique. Let's go rewind a little bit to the
Black
marriage,
guys.
The black guys.
Talk more about these black
And
guys.
the marriage dissolves. And at what point in your career are you at when this happens? And is this like
At the worst point. So I said in 2008 is when I quit everything else.
Yeah.
Where I was just going to let show business be the thing. 2008 is when we broke up, is when I realized what was happening. So that year I made maybe $12,000, and but to leave, I'm like, okay, well, you leave. I want to keep the house for the kids, so I offer her the house. She's like, I can't pay for the house, and I don't want to be in the house. Too many bad memories. I'm like, what bad memory? Anyway, whatever. I don't know how many guys came by here. Jesus. No, this is terrible. We can't. Oh God. So I kept the house, making no money though. Like that year, I think I made 28,000 total. Like forget the hotel that I have to pay for and plane and whatever. I profit maybe 12,000 that year. So I went into so much debt I had to remortgage the house, and it was very, very difficult. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm making a living, not really a good living, but doing this thing, and I just stuck with it. And like the last couple of years, I've been doing good to the point where my ex-wife sued me last year for $100,000
She's got no idea.
because she just read an article in the paper. She's like, "Oh, he's doing good now." Fucking
Yeah.
ugh.
I mean, I did a show tonight with Don Kelly and Wafik Nasrallah and Greg Schroeder, and they were talking about.
I love all three of those guys.
Yeah, and they were talking about how you lately have just been in this zone where it's absolute destruction on stage. You're in this. I mean, you can tell any story, and it's just hilarious and super funny, and you can go on and on about the same story for 45 minutes, and I mean, tonight when I got there, I walked in, you were telling a story, and people are dying. Women are getting up to go to the bathroom to pee because they're laughing so hard. I also went to the bathroom. I needed a moment to walk away, and I came back, and you were saying the same thing again in a different way, and people are still dying, and I mean, it's just, you're in this.
Because I felt you guys went to the bathroom. I didn't want to burn through any material while you were gone.
It's just
Everybody back now? All right, let's pick up where we left off.
You're in this zone. So, I mean, not to get back and relive the memory again, but your wife leaves you. Is that like a motivator? Is that something? Did you use any of that on stage? How did that work into the stage, Derek?
Again, I've already spoken more on this podcast. I've spoken more about it than I normally do ever at all. It was no, I didn't. At first, I tried to talk about it, and then I would say something like I just said on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, everybody, I'm just kidding. And it would be like I'd fucking choke.
Yeah.
So no, I just start talking about not negative things. And that's the thing. So right now there's comedians being sued and Human Rights Commission in Quebec. I try to be positive, even though I complain about shit and I talk about really dirty and graphic things. I just try not to be negative about it, though. So even the most dirty, graphic thing, I'm trying to find the positive twist on it, like a chick that's gonna, like, she's choking on your cock, but will still have the courtesy to stick out her tongue and lick your nuts. That's what a nice touch.
That is nice.
So, it was a hard moment. I didn't focus on it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that I needed to continue to pay for this house. This was the only house that my kid ever knew. I was like, it's traumatic enough that their parents are breaking up. They don't need to lose the only house that they've ever known. So I'm like, I'll pay for it no matter what happened. So did it help or did it hurt? I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, now the stress is
I
on.
lost my appetite though. Thanks, Mark.
If you
Go
howled
back to my
down
usual
4
fucking
pieces of
regimen
pizza.
of cigarettes and beer. I almost got some calories in there, Mom, but Mark ruined it. We're going back to cigarettes and beer.
Okay, so now we've moved on past that. You've got you're trying now to make money to pay for the kids to stay in the house. So you've got now you're getting on stage to make money because you now have something that you want to pay for, right? It's not a hobby anymore.
That's only occurred to me in the last year, the money part, because I've made, and now I'm starting to make serious money, I guess, by like normal people standard.
Yeah.
not millions. Everybody relax, but but like where sometimes I can, to do 45 minutes of work and you make $3,000. It's what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. I'm still from that generation of people that $3,000 for. Like, there's not, like, if you think back when we were kids, I don't know if you come from a lot of money.
No.
But when I was in my 20s, there was not a lot of thing that you could say, Derek, $3,000, would you do? Yep,
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
pretty well, yep, yeah, would do that. I would. Murder 7 families? Yep.
Well, you come from Montreal.
$7,000,
Yeah.
So, it just working and loving it and being able to pay my bill was enough. And then just recently, and I hate it sometimes that somebody will be like, will you do this particular thing for $1,500? And I'm like, no, I don't think I will. I think I would rather play golf and maybe jerk off and nap that day. That's crazy. How the fuck that all they're asking me to do is, could you come tell your dick jokes to these people in fucking Trois-Rivières? Yeah. I was really counting on jerking off.
I got something else.
Like
to
you
do.
really just, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the phone, the conference call, I'm not like
Yeah.
jerk off, but I'm like, nah, I've otherwise committed myself.
Yeah.
So the fact that I've got into that, Mark, is it's mind blowing to me. That because there was a time that money really like they could ask me to go juggle for fucking retarded rabid dogs, and I would have fuck $1,500. You
Yeah. Well, earlier you said you do it for $50, right? Like it was a hobby, and it's $50. And now we've gotten to a point where it's you got to make money for your kids, and you're doing it for $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000. And now you're realizing that you can always make money, but you can't always make time, right? So you're
And those special shows, that's the other thing, because if anybody see us this weekend at the comedy club, I don't make $1,000 and $1,000 to do. I do the club because I love them.
Yeah.
And they will pay for my grocery this weekend. It'll be, it's worth it. But when those special shows, the corporate show, they're not usually fun. So sometimes now I'm like, no, sometimes I'd rather sit with my family and feel loved rather than feel judged by some fucking banker asshole that, But, you eventually start making a living at it and your perspective change.
What do you think? And you mentioned earlier how it was going from like a time when you're up there trying to not be judged into a point where other comedians are saying this guy's on fire. What do you think made that happen? What happened in your career and your presence on stage and your joke writing that took you from that spot where you were worried about being judged to the point where you go up there like I saw tonight and you could talk about anything? And it's like and to me, the way you've said in the past 5 years, people have said, like what happened? Like it's been in the past handful of years for sure. It's changed.
Yeah, I guess I just stuck to my what I like doing on stage, because for a long time, and still sometime now, like some of my there's still people that are much higher up on the echelon of just seniority or whatever that bug me about, the French guy, you fucking, why don't you work in French then? Or you're a character, I guess I never pay attention. I just always did what I thought was the most funny thing I could do on stage, and it worked out good. And then you start winning contests and doing nasty show at Just for Laugh. That was pretty fucking epic. So it's just do always what I think is the funniest for the audience, and hope that everybody else is agreeing with me, I guess.
So what is your creative process like? Do you write jokes down? Do you think of them and then write them down? Or
I did for a while, because when I first started, I didn't even know that I was a fan of comedy, and the best comedy feel like it's just happening spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
I learned after that, a lot of those things were written by the comedian and worked out, and so then I started writing jokes, like even at the computer, and like my girlfriend would even make fun of me. It's like, do you have your jokes in point form? Because that's the title that I gave to the thing. But now I'm back again. I haven't written a joke down probably in 8 years or so. I just go and talk.
So you can. I mean, tonight you're over an hour for sure.
Yeah.
And that's all just memory, just things you just go.
Memory, and the first 15 minutes you didn't see the first 15, but the first 15 minutes were about the fact that I was wearing short, and I'm sorry that I'm a retard that I can't even pack pants. to
Yeah.
come.
So I've seen you a few times, and every time I didn't see tonight the start, but that's always how you've started. You address who you are, the reality of the situation that's around you. Is that something that you like? You stand there and go, "Okay, what am I going to talk about tonight?" Is that?
Yeah. I don't, and I'm even mindful of the waitress and the doorman. Like I don't want to do the same show 5 times in a row, so I just try to find things that are right now happening in the moment.
Yeah.
So that it's not the same every time. And I was here in May, so tonight at the beginning of the show, I'm like, who was here in May? And I even say, oh, sorry, somebody give some of their money back because comment, how many joke you think I can write in 2 months, But then by the end of the show, I'm like, oh no, they got a new show tonight. That's great.
Well, there's a guy at the show tonight who'd seen you 10 times, right? And I think you asked him how was it, and he said something about it was different, right? It was
Always new. Yeah.
always new.
That's probably the thing that I'm most proud of.
That's incredible.
Yeah, in this job. Yeah.
Do you have subjects that you won't talk about, or is it just you?
Generally, my ex-wife I had to stay away from because I always end up saying some fucking stupid thing that could make my kid be hurt.
Ah,
So I don't.
well, that's nice. So you're
And yet they treat me like they don't even like me. They treat their mother with such kid glove, but with me they're like, oh fuck, you give us some money. We need money. We need.
do they come to your shows at all?
The 2 older one, I've started to see a few things. Like I did a benefit for the flood. The flood that they had and get snow in Montreal.
Yeah, it was huge around here for sure.
So we did a big benefit with the Red Cross 3 weeks ago, I guess. And I put it all together myself. So I had my kid, my mom came. She was collecting money. My son was usher, whatever. So that's the most recent time they saw me, and they were kind to me. They were like, "You were the best part of that show for sure." And the show was stacked. We were so lucky. It was my thing. I really put this show together, and but we had K. Trevor Wilson on the show, Kate Davis, Abdul Butt, Mike Patterson, Tim Rabnett, Brian. The show was.
Yeah.
Heidi Foss was on the show. She was actually affected by the flood too.
How long was the show? That's a lot of big names.
It was a intermission.
Oh yeah.
It was like 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And we raised like $20,000.
That's
for the Red
amazing.
Cross, yeah.
How does that make you feel? You've got the
Good.
ability
And
now.
A lady at the show tonight. She's from here in Ottawa, and she heard about it because it propaged a lot, and she was. That's so nice of you. You're really like a hero, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you, madame.
No, when you can take your friends and go to talking to a microphone for 20 minutes each and raise that kind of money for the people who are affected by something like that.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's a great thing.
You're a firefighter, so you see all kind of bad shit that happened to people. But for me, this was a natural disaster that happened very close to home. I'm like, god.
Yeah.
All to say though, my kid volunteered, so they were volunteers. They helped out.
How many kids do you have?
3.
And how old are they?
17, 16, and 11.
Oh, so they're getting to be adult age.
Yeah, the 2 big ones, they were right in there, and they.
My oldest son's 16 now, and he's sort of turning into an adult. And I mean, it feels like life is just super accelerated at this point. I mean, now you have a 17 and a 16-year-old. Do you have the same sort of like feelings?
I love them still the same, but you have to keep remind myself that they're becoming grown up, and they don't want to hang out with daddy. And even though I try to be cool, I'm the fucking least cool person.
Come on, I find it hard to believe Derek Seguin is the least cool.
They find me so. They're embarrassed. They don't bring their like my son. I've never met. He's been with her for 5 months. I've not met his girlfriend. He just does not bring her home.
He doesn't trust you.
He says it's her, that she's shy or whatever. But I'm like, nah. But it was cool to have them there at the show. Like, as a dad, you're probably like, oh, you shouldn't watch my show. But I was like, look what Daddy's gonna
Yeah,
do
yeah.
now. I'm gonna
Once-
go talk about my cock, and everyone's gonna laugh.
Yeah, but once they see the reaction of the crowd and that everybody loves it, and they're almost adults now too, right? And they can appreciate.
They
that.
even have their teacher like, oh, your dad's Derek Seguin. Like my son failed his math provincial exam
Yeah.
at 58%. So his grade through the year is gonna definitely put it to a pass. But his new vice principal, and I'm sorry if you're listening to this, if you're one of those 600. But he called me, and I could kind of tell when he was talking to me. He's just calling me because, oh, finally I have an excuse to call Derek Seguin the comedian. He's like, Reese might fail the thing, but we'll call you on Friday if he actually does fail and he have to go to summer school.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, but we're pretty sure he's not, right? Oh, yeah, it's pretty sure he's not. But
Yeah.
just wanted to let you know, take the opportunity to call you.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
There's an 8.5 and 11 autographed in the mail for
Yeah,
you. So,
I was
you
super
got it.
stressed for a while. I'm like, oh my, and then oh, you really don't want him to fail. That's good. That's good news.
That's awesome. So let's just take a little rewind here. After your marriage is dissolved, broken up, how does it go from there? Yeah.
How much mobility do we have? Oh, you've got them twist tied.
What do you?
I was gonna go get another.
Here, let's see what we can do here.
No, I don't want to run.
We want to see if Derek Seguin can get.
No, just rephrase that question.
Oh, the question is
In a much longer,
in a much longer format. I'm just thinking back to the time when you're starting comedy. You've been in comedy a few years, and your wife's telling you that it's fine to go out. Things aren't great.
Okay, wrap it up. I'm back.
And the marriage is over, and then so what? You're free to. You go out and do comedy more often after that, and how does that work? And
Yeah, so there was a point where because you're supporting your family with it,
Yeah.
I'm like anything. Like you want to come do this show, even if it was for free.
Yeah.
To me, the more show I do, the more people will want to see me do a show. So there was a year that I did the 297 show in the 1 year.
Okay.
And I think I made $35,000.
Yeah.
Doing that.
So that's your best year to date at the point.
In terms of number of show.
Yeah, and money, right? Cause
No, money I do better now.
No. Now you do, but at the point,
that time,
yeah.
for
So
sure.
you're making the most amount of money, most amount of shows. Things are going well. You've done it just for laughs, and then so where does it go from there? What do you start touring the country?
Yuck Yucks. They start working with Yuck Yucks. That started in about 2008 or 2009.
Okay.
And that's an interesting story. This is probably going to take up the rest of the podcast if we start talking about it. But
Yeah,
the first ever gig that I did for Yuck Yuck was at Niagara Falls. It's in the casino. The club used to be in the casino.
Yeah, I heard it was a great club. That's
No,
right.
it's horrible. They were fucking asshole people. Everyone involved with the Niagara Falls casino can suck my dick, you fucking cunt faces. I'm still banned for life. It's not this. Yeah, this message does not represent Mark Hatfield or the Mark Hatfield Enterprises.
You know what I heard? I heard that they had a great green room there. Is what I've heard. But
It's
so go on.
behind the stage. It's behind the stage. So I guess
stage.
it wasn't bad. But I got arrested and beat up and fucking.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm banned. I'm still banned, even though there's no more Yuck Yuck there. I'm banned from the Niagara Falls casinos.
Let's take a minute here and talk about that. What happened?
I'll tell you what happened,
Yeah.
Mark.
Okay.
So I do my first ever Yuck Yucks show at the Niagara Falls, and it go good, and I did great, and I'm super happy, and I have a gambling problem, so I immediately go to the casino, start gambling, and I'm drinking, and I'm having fun like I usually do when I'm gambling, and I'm talking to the dealer have like a mustache.
Okay.
That's definitely from the 70s. So
Like
you
Magna
can make
PI.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like Jeff Foxworthy, like a fucking flacka.
Very handsome.
So I'm like, come on, Jeff Foxworthy, give me some good cards, you know. And at one point, this little fucking dwarf security guard come up to me and he's like, hey, you can't talk to the dealer like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just fucking, we're in the spirit. Everyone's laughing. We're having fun.
Yeah.
And it's turned out because I was an employee of the casino, they hold us to a different standard and they can just kick us out whenever they want. But he's like, you all have to leave the casino. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. I lost $600. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And then he called some big beef guy, and they carry me out of the thing. I'm like, you little dwarf fuck, I'm gonna kill you, you stupid fucking asshole. And then we get outside, and he's like, I'm gonna call the cops. I'm like, call the cops, you little key toting, because he had one of those zhuga things on his belt,
Yeah,
that
those are
the
cool.
key with the string stretch or whatever.
Yeah, like a janitor.
Yeah, like a janitor. I'm like, how many door do you need to open in this place, you little fucking gnome? Anyway, so when he said, I'm going to call the cop, I thought he meant go back in the casino, use a telephone. No, it turned out he meant the OPP guy was standing right there, and he called the cop, and they arrest me. And I just called this guy every name in the book. I'm like, you stupid little shit. So they start roughing me up with the flashlight and the little stick, and now I'm arrested in my first yuck gig ever. And God bless Mark Breslin. Like, I still have a major loyalty to this guy, because I had worked one night at Yuck Yucks and got arrested and put in jeopardy this whole franchise of the thing. And Mark loves that. He loves the rock star stupid asshole, which in retrospect I was just being a fucking dickhead. Why didn't I just listen to whatever anybody said? And he's like, no, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it, it's gonna be fine. But I'm still banned to this day from Yuck Yucks, from the Niagara Falls, because all the Niagara Falls casino. But while I was in custody, they were roughing me up and shit, and I'm like, you guys have to give me a phone call, I took university pre-law class. I have to get, and they give me a phone call, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna totally phone. And who the fuck do I know in Niagara Falls? Because Niagara Falls, Ontario. So I ended up calling 911. I called 911 from jail. I'm in jail, and I called 911. I'm like, yes, madam. There's this fat policeman here. He's beating me up. You have to send new police. I need a whole new batch of police to reassess the situation. And she's like, no, so there's police there? Could we speak to them? I'm like, no, you cannot speak to them. They will not give you the same version of the story that I am giving you. Send all new police. And she's like, okay, sir. I'm going to have to take... And so they send... So this casino are policed by OPP. Okay. I'm in Niagara Falls. They have their own municipal police. She sent me municipal police. And when the guy walked in, I'm just like, I'm beat up. I'm like a little bleeding under my eye because they got fucking mad at me at one point. I'm like, what shit, you fucking asshole, you ruined my life. And he's like, sit down. And I hip checked the guy. And anyway, it didn't go good. But when the municipal police guy walked in, he look at me. He look at who's there. And he kind of rolled his eyes, kind of like, oh, jeez, this again. I'm like, oh, fuck, I have a chance. Maybe that 911 was the best way to go. Come in, he talked to me, and he said, listen, dude, if you could not say anything, I will get you out of here. Just, I'm going to take off the handcuff, come with me, and leave, and don't say a word. And I'm like, okay, man, oh, my God, if that's what I'm so lucky, if you can do that. So he take out the handcuff, and we're walking out, and I see the old fucking OPP piece of shit looking at me like, and I just like, see you later. And the guy was like, hey, I said don't say anything. I'm like, sorry, I was just trying to be polite. Sorry. But fuck, he drove me back to my hotel room.
Wow.
I went from my career is over and I have a criminal record, because they were saying they're going to charge me with assault on a police officer and all this thing. And then this guy just drive me back to my... So that's the message out there, kids, is if ever you run out of money because of gambling in Niagara Falls, just punch a cop in the face and then call for new cops. And those cops will drive you back to your hotel. No taxi
cops.
Required.
I like it. That's good. So has gambling been is it still an issue? Is it something that's a problem? No,
not at all.
Okay,
No.
That's good. That's good. It was a one-time deal.
One-time
you
deal,
learned your
yeah.
lesson for sure. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we've gone from we think our career is over to being saved by Mark Breslin in a cop outfit, taking you out, and you did Yuck Yucks. That's the start of your Yuck Yucks.
That was the first Yuck. So I did the Thursday,
Yeah.
and now I'm banned for life.
You're supposed to do it the
I'm
whole
supposed
weekend.
to do Friday, Saturday, and I'm already banned for life.
Yeah.
And Yuck Yuck still let me continue to work, and I will be forever grateful, because I was starting out with Yuck Yucks, so I MC a lot. I do a lot of MC, and MCing at Yuck Yucks for all you young comic out there, MCing for Yuck Yuck is the best way to become a better comedian.
Because
Just every night it's different. You're in a different audience. Excuse me. Yeah, that actually happened. That's a live podcast, everybody. I just barfed. I just short-circuited one of the circuit breakers because I barfed a little bit. Because every night it's an MC already. You're supposed to be more spontaneous. Like,
Yeah.
oh, anybody celebrate and what do you have? And
Yeah.
fuck it. Just my comedy went from, say, it was a 5 on 10
Yeah.
to like a 9 on 10 in 2 years. It was just because you always have to be
yeah,
doing new thing, and it was the best exercise in. It was the most intensive improvement of my comedy
so you did a lot
in the 15 year I've been doing it, or 14 year
okay.
I've been doing it. Those 2 years of MCing a lot with
Yeah.
for Yuck Yuck made me get better as a comic.
I noticed that even like tonight, I mean your interaction with the crowd it's seamless. It's like it's part of the bit, right? It's like you're talking to that lady from Newfoundland tonight, and then you told your story, and it was all came back, and you,
She wasn't
her-
even from Newfoundland, but she said she volunteered that she likes sucking dick. So I was like, all right, well, let's call you from Newfoundland.
So do you trace it back to being a host for a couple of years? The fact that you could just
For
seamlessly
sure.
talk to the crowd like that.
When I can go into the crowd and find comedy in it, it's definitely from being an MC at the Yuck Yucks comedy clubs. Absolutely.
I think that is so powerful when you can actually communicate to the people in the crowd, because it's a live thing. Everyone is different. Every time you get on stage is a unique experience. And when you can include the people, you can look them in the eye, make them part of the show. It makes everything you say funnier, right?
Yeah, and that's why I've learned. It's a little trick, but to ask a guy that I feel like I'm connecting with in the first 15 minutes, like, hey, what's your name? Well, how old are you? And like, let's make you, and then go back to that guy. Like, am I right, Scott? Right, Scott?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Scott, we're buddies now. Come on, tell everybody I'm not an asshole. We agree on this one thing right there.
I love it. How much of the onstage Derek Seguin is like the offstage Derek Seguin? Is it?
I'm definitely more stressed off stage. I'm probably less French. Also, like we speak English a lot at my house.
Yeah.
But it's my personality. It's not. It's when I'm on stage. It's the personality that's not encumbered by the. Oh, Chris, we have to put the eaves trough back up on the roof, and the
Yeah.
kids can might need summer school, and what am I gonna do? My daughter is not getting. She didn't get into college, and the guy on stage is like, who gives a shit? Let's drink a little bit, and So I'm less stressed about daily thing on stage, but it's pretty close. It's what I feel, it's what I think. So yeah, they're very close, but very different also. Because my kid don't even think I'm funny. My kid think I'm like, oh, still my fat scam, and they're always clean my room, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's called being a parent. Yeah, I get that all the time too. I'm like, how am I a comedian when I'm sitting there telling these kids to like load the dishwasher for the 7th time?
Yeah, like, and you say it like you're a professional comedian, but you try to make your discipline thing come out as joke. Like, oh, hey, it's really funny how you had to walk by the dishwasher to put your dirty dish in the sink, you fucking asshole. Like, that's not funny at all, Dad.
No, there's nothing funny about you. But then other times you'll be sitting there and just like going on a tear of hilariousness, right? And then a minute later they look at you like, oh my God, is he going to tell jokes or like tell us to go do something?
And my kid, what they find the most funny is when I'm at my worst moment. Like last year, like my ex-wife had sued me, and my girlfriend was giving me a hard time, and the kid were being shitty, and I fucking lost it. I'm like, just you open the drawer where the toothpaste normally is, and it wasn't there. I'm like, what the fuck? And I open another drawer, and then I just fucking open the bathroom door. I'm like, kids, where the fuck is the toothpaste? Dude, that was like 8 years ago, but still today at supper, anytime they act like I'm acting irrational, they're like, oh yeah, Dad, hey, where's the toothpaste? Really? That's the thing you remember? Not that I've bought you everything you've ever needed in your life, you fucking asshole. You're going to bring up the toothpaste thing again when I had that little meltdown?
I'm always hoping they forget those moments.
Yeah,
And
that's the only thing they remember.
That's terrible.
Oh, Dad, remember the time you threw the chair across the room because the dishwasher hose wouldn't hook up when you were trying to install it? Yeah, thanks. I remember
I try to
that.
dilute those moments with there's so mumuch like Dairy Queen and like like Timbits that
They only remember the worst thing about me.
terrible. Oh, there's hope for us all.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just a little bit back to the casino.
Just so you guys do you realize this, Mark didn't add a little dramatic pause in the podcast. We both just kind of sat there like,
Children,
Super
they've
sad.
ruined us all.
they're thinking we're
And I
editing
took a
this.
bite
They're
of
like,
my fluffy pizza.
Yeah.
Mm.
The simple things in life
It's
that make us
cold now.
happy.
The 2 a.m. pizza. So delicious. Okay, so you've been banned from Yuck Yucks. Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls, not
Where do we?
Yuck Yucks.
No, not Yuck Yucks. Where do we go from there? How does that? How does the career go from there?
People have often asked, because the last few years have been very good for me, and they're like, "Oh, was it that one thing that was it the Sirius XM contest that made you now this higher profile?" I think in 2014 I got Just for Laugh HBO Gala.
Okay.
So like a dirty HBO and Just for Laugh looked really good. And that next year was better. It was better. And the next year, Just for Laugh gave me the Nasty Show, which is excuse me. In the industry, the Nasty Show, it's the big thing.
Okay.
So definitely that was huge. I got many invitations from American Club and American Festival. And then the year after that was better. And then that following year I got I won the Sirius XM thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say those three things in a row definitely changed the profile of my career. And since then, so since 2016, things have been just really great, and I couldn't be more thankful. And everybody that's buy a ticket or a CD, thank you so much. And I will always work as hard as I can to be as funny as I can always be. But it's not like that old saying, it's take 10 years of hard work to be an overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's 10 years of j'adore ce que je fais. I will do anything to do this job. And the same thing for the last 10 years. And now finally I can make a living that's, I don't have to stress. Like I don't have to. There was a time that I see, can I even make my next mortgage payment? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I borrow money from my girlfriend or my mother. Now I'm past that point where I'm giving money now to my girlfriend and to my mother, and it's I'm so thankful for it. But yeah, so it's a lot of work, but I did it gladly. I didn't know if it was gonna be my job. And now that I've been doing it though since 2008, and you hear about comedy is going down in Canada, and I'm like, ooh, only 8 years of nonstop of full-time comedy, and I'm like, ooh, fuck, what if comedy is not a thing anymore? I feel qualified to do fuck all. Like at least you're a 7-foot Adonis fireman. You have a thing to follow. I have fuck all. What could I do? If anybody needs like beden shining lesson or what the fuck, what could I do? Feel like I have no skill. Even the last job I had, which was in advertising, web application, I don't even understand how the internet work anymore. I don't know what happened. Things that I used to know are no longer in my brain. It's just I get mad at how the fucking whippersnip fucking string don't come out when it's break, and why would you fucking?
I have no idea how that thing works.
Yeah,
I've been trying. Seriously, it's funny you should mention that. I've been trying for weeks to get my whippersnipper to extend that little piece of plastic.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard?
And then I have a battery-powered one, and it's like, why won't it charge up again? Did I burn the motor?
No, you gotta.
By smashing it, trying to get the string out? Maybe I've broken the whippersnipper.
I have a battery-powered lawnmower. Takes like 5 charges to do my lawn. It's a constant thing. We just leave the lawnmower where it stops.
And then you go lawnmower shopping. You're like, oh, like I remember when I bought that whippersnapper, it was to replace a thing that I paid $3 at a garage sale, and then I buy a brand new battery power. I'm like, it was only $80, and I've been riding that thing for like 9 years, and I hate it. I want to kill. It weighed like 900 pounds because of the stupid battery.
It's terrible.
So all these things that your little five charge lawnmower, you probably go to a lawnmower store. You're like, really? Lawnmowers are only $275?
That's exactly what they
Why
cost.
haven't I fucking bought that? I've spent way more than that on the fucking Prozac that I'm taking to fucking get over my stupid lawnmower.
That past 5 minutes was pretty much poetry. That was unbelievable. I mean, it's just never give up. You just keep working hard. You just, keep at it. Good things are going to happen, and if you just don't give up, what?
And for the kids listening out there, if you find something that you love to do, do it. Do it for free. You pay to do it. And eventually, I promise you, I'm like, if you suck shit at it, but if you love doing it, you would do it anyway. So just do it. And eventually it turned into money. Like my eldest daughter, who's not in school right now, and she doesn't really have a good job. I mean, you love writing. Why aren't you writing? Well, just write and send it. Don't just write, but write and send it to people.
Yeah.
And in 3 years, people might be offering you thousands of dollars for you to send them thing.
Yeah.
Get it out. Just do it. You love doing it anyway.
That's
just
right.
do it.
What did Tom Green say on our podcast 2 weeks or a week ago? You haven't failed till you've stopped trying, right? Like you just keep going, and you just keep going. You're learning from those mistakes. You're still moving in the right direction, and it's gonna happen, right? Like I mean, that's
And when you love what you're doing anyway, you're gonna do it anyway. Just share it with the world. Yeah,
that's perfect.
very lucky.
Wow. So what does the future hold for Derek Seguin? What are we looking at in the next 5
Hopefully,
years?
listen, my fucking belly is getting bigger, and I'm getting less and less attractive. Contrary to you fucking asshole, going breathing in asbestos, and he comes out with a new fucking like dimple in his chin. Asbestos just makes me handsomer. I'm getting less and less handsome, so my big worry is that in 10 years. People won't want to listen to me talking about my dick anymore. Like, ugh, who wants to hear about that shriveled up thing? So hopefully in the next 10 years, I make enough money to live the rest of my life, which will probably be 11 years, but it's not,
They carried Richard Pryor out on a chair to the stage for his last 6 months of life when he was, 70 years old. I think people will, as long as you stay
He's
relevant.
my hero. He's my absolute
Is that right?
hero. Yeah.
Why is that?
He's the greatest comic that's ever lived on the planet. It's from my
Yeah.
point of view. Dude, he fucking a heroin-induced rage episode where he shoot with a handgun the car that his wife was trying to leave in. Turned that into a fucking genius joke where people are... He's the fucking best. I actually bought on the internet a autographed picture of him, and it's one of my most prized possession that I put on when I redesigned the whole living room. I made it super nice according to her spec, and I put this thing right on the shelf that I built, and I put this autographed picture of Richard Pryor. It don't say "Dear Derek," nothing. It's just Richard Pryor and his autograph that I bought on the internet. Actually, I bought it from Dave Nystrom. He's a comedian that he was having deportation issues in America, and I took advantage of his fucking misery and bought his Richard Pryor photo. But it's one of my this is my fucking hero.
Yeah.
To talk about the most serious thing, grave, and make it just that everybody can relate and laugh and not leave there feeling like, oh, fuck, I think I laugh at that poor black guy's misery, whatever. He's the greatest. He's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I look at him, and we talked about he lit his hair on fire when he was smoking
Running
crack,
down the street.
running down the street. He lights a match on stage, and that whole bit. And he was sort of the first to talk about life's challenges, right? Like he was the first one to bring on stage that, life is hard for everybody, and people could relate to that, and it's sort of a game changer in a lot of comedians nowadays. And I look for that because I think if you can make people feel something.
His mother was a prostitute. He grew up in the fucking whorehouse.
Yeah.
And they made it all funny somehow.
So,
so if I could be a quarter of Richard Pryor, I would be. I'm very proud.
And so that's why you talk about some of your struggles on stage, right?
Everything, yeah. Like, you know, I'm a Canadian guy that come from the middle class. I don't have fucking growing up in a whorehouse, watching my grandmother freebase heroin problems. I don't have those problems, but you know, my girlfriend get a little upset stomach and she shit on the wall of my bathroom. Those are big problems. But no, that
those are big problems.
You know, no one wants to see their girlfriend shit ever.
So you've got 10 years left. We're just wrapping up here because you got 10 years. I mean, in your mind, you got 10 years left till you lose your beautiful looks. And so what's the?
And in this podcast will only last another 10 years.
This podcast.
Then we'll
forever.
wrap it up.
It's been fantastic.
No, this particular episode of the podcast.
This particular episode has been a game changer for sure. With Derek Seguin. I just like you've got a 10-year sort of, maybe not a plan, but. And you want it to last forever. How do you do that? What's the? I mean, you're making lots of money now. Whatever.
I hope to make enough money in the next 10 years.
And that's through doing the same sort of thing, headlining, saving the money. Is there a TV show?
I do have. You brought up the gambling before. I do have a gambling problem that I'm hoping to put to bed again for the 4th time in my life. I've had to give up gambling many times. It's getting out of control again, so I'm gonna have to stop. But. Yeah, that's to save money, I guess. Save money, pay for the house, so that I have something to leave to the kid.
Yeah.
Already, I've surpassed what my ambition and my 8 years ago, I would be like, oh my God, if I could just make $80,000 a year doing this job, I would be the luckiest guy. And then I never even had that year. I went from making 45 or 50 to 90. I'm like, what the fuck is that, man? And then the next year I went over 100. I'm like, I've already surpassed my best fantasy life. So now if I could just stay exactly where I am right now for the next 10 years, that'd be great. But people are like, Derek, think big, go bigger, you know, you sell a show. If any of that happened, I'll be so happy. But honestly, Mark, if I'm here one time every year in this shitty hotel room, eating this shitty pizza, talking to you on these very high quality microphone that you've obviously invested much money in.
So good, yeah.
I'll be so happy. I find it weird when fan or even other comedian oh, you probably don't remember me. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I opened for you 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Of course I remember you. If this is where I am in 10 years, at the exact same level, headlining a Yuck Yuck, hanging out with you, I'll be so happy. If I'm alive in 10 years, let's be honest, I'm a smoker, alcoholic, gambler. If I'm alive in 10 years. But yeah.
Well, that was beautiful. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that was an amazing hour that we spent together. Thank you very much, and I will be back here and doing it again in a year, man.
And then every year until I die.
Until you die. And
so 3 years at least.
I'll be at your funeral and talk to your wife about
I actually have a mole I'd like you to look at.
Don't we all? That was great, man. I really appreciate that. That was...
Cheers. Thanks, man.
Yeah, game changing. Thanks for the pizza, the beer, and the secondhand smoke. That was awesome. Seriously awesome, man. Feels weird with headphones. And I'm always afraid to press a button at the end because I don't know what these buttons do. Stop. Let's do it. An hour. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that trip. This podcast truly is a game changer for me. Derek was super open with everything. He's a super successful guy. He's doing well. He talks about crazy stuff, and he can put a positive twist on anything. I had a great time with him. get to hang out with people like this is amazing part of doing these podcasts. It's a great opportunity, and I'm happy to call him my friend. Until next week, stay cool.